Congratulations on the host binding. Super Farmer system. Super Farm. Hey, isn't this Jiang Cheng? I'm not going to work in a big city. Why did you come back to farm again? What is the future of farming in the village? How can it be so easy to get mixed up in the city? Stay up late and work overtime every day. Can't make much money yet. It's better to farm in the village and be at ease. I just want to live a slow life. Congratulations on the host binding. Super Farmer system. Super Farm. This is what the system just said. Super Farm. This is no different from an ordinary field. There doesn't seem to be any difference, right? Is it possible to go down with a hoe? How can we dig out a 100-year-old Ganoderma lucidum? When I go there, there is really a 100-year-old Ganoderma lucidum. Such a big Ganoderma lucidum. The meat is so thick, it must be worth at least hundreds of thousands. This farm is awesome. I dig. Let me see, what else is good about Super Farm? This is a scam, right? All plain. I didn't find anything good either. Bonus soup cooking secret book. Recipe. What do I need this thing for? I still have to spend time learning. What's going on? How did the book get into my body? Wait a moment, I seem to know how to make soup. All soup making methods. I've got it all. There is no need to learn the recipes rewarded by the system. So good. The system asked me to grow vegetables to make soup. Just plant a cucumber first. Okay, so eat. While it's still early, I have to sell Ganoderma lucidum quickly. Do you accept medicinal materials here? Xiao Yu, go check it out. Hello sir. May I ask what medicinal materials you want to sell? None. Do you want just one Ganoderma lucidum? Sorry, we have no shortage of Ganoderma lucidum, if you have a lot. Stores can also take a look at quality considerations, but if there is only one. Sorry, we don't accept it for now. But 100-year-old wild Ganoderma lucidum, don't you think about it too? Centenary Ganoderma lucidum, are you sure? This century-old Ganoderma lucidum, it is something that can be met but cannot be sought. How can we say that there is such a thing? Boy, are you afraid that you have been deceived? Oh sir, why don't you help me take a look? Grandpa, this Ganoderma lucidum is so big. Let me see. Wow, this is really a 100-year-old Ganoderma lucidum, still wild. Boy, you are so lucky. That's it. You'll take the 800,000 yuan. 800,000. I originally thought it would sell for hundreds of thousands at most. Xiao Yu transfers money. Okay. Suddenly there were 800,000. What should I do? How about opening a store? Is there anyone? Young man, let's eat. Shopkeeper. I saw the transfer hanging on your door. Is this hotel for sale? Yes. If you want this hotel, I will sell it for 800,000. Grandma. Do you know? How much money do I have in my pocket? But such a large area. Such a location. 800,000 is definitely worth it. Okay, Grandma. Let's go through this procedure today. Into. The procedures are completed. This hotel is mine. I will be the boss here from now on. That's right. I have to buy some food planted in my super farm. I hope those vegetables can grow a little faster. Wow, I just said I hope to grow up faster. I didn't expect this to grow up. Such a short vine. 10 times more than ordinary cucumber vines. Wow, why is this cucumber so delicious? It seems obvious, just like a regular cucumber. This cucumber is so delicious, right? This super farm is amazing too. Is Grandma Li open today? Business is business. For now, there is only cucumber noodles in clear soup. Do you want to eat? You are. Oh? I'm the new boss here. Grandma Li. The hotel has been transferred. I heard Grandma Li say a few days ago, but I didn't expect it to be so soon. Just give me a bowl of cucumber noodles in clear soup. Okay, find a place to sit. Good. Spicy. Come, your noodles are ready. Spicy. Why is this side green? Why is this side green? This side is made with cucumber juice. You try it. Okay. Spicy. This noodle not only has the sweetness of cucumber, there is also an indescribable fresh fragrance. So delicious. Like. This is the best noodles I have ever eaten. Spicy. So delicious. I accidentally overstuffed myself. As long as you are satisfied. Spicy. Xiao Lin. Sister Shu. Why are you here? I've been looking for you for a long time. Have you considered it? The price given by Boss Ju is not low. Sister Shu. I really can't do the job of cultivating wine. Otherwise, you should find someone else. Why don't you do some money-making errands? Follow me. Hey, this eldest sister. What are you doing? Don't you see that they are not willing? In introducing her to a job. 100 yuan a day. Only work 2 hours. Where can I find such a good job? You are looking for a job. I want to work study. I will also give you 100 yuan a day. Do you want to do it or not? I do it. Just your little shabby shop. How many bowls of noodles are sold every day? How powerful do you think you are? Finish this day. The fight is not enough to give her wages. You don't need to worry about this anymore. Release your hands quickly. Bah. I want to see how many days you can hire her. Don't look at it. Just stay and work here, boss. You really want to hire me? Not to help me out. Did you just say that? Of course not. From now on you will be my employee. Thank you, boss. My name is Lin Xu. No need to call me boss. My name is Jiang Cheng. Brother Hao Cheng. Let's go sell vegetables together later. Selling vegetables. Good. Boss, how do you sell this cucumber? Sister, my cucumbers cost 6 yuan a pound. The best cucumbers in the house cost only $2.50. Do you want it to be so expensive? 6 yuan. Are you cheating? Come on, uncle and sis. You all come and take a look. My cucumbers are very fresh. Absolutely delicious. Come on, sis. You taste it. These cucumbers are all grown at home. Pure green products without pesticides. And 6 yuan is definitely not a loss. It's just a trial sale now. The price will definitely increase in the future. If you buy it, you will earn it. It's so delicious. Okay, let me try it. Yeah. This is too delicious. What kind is this? This doesn't look good. It tastes so sweet. No need to put any seasoning on this. It's delicious even if you eat it directly. It's so delicious. Boss, give me £5. Good. Ignore me. You can be a trap, right? Do you believe it or not? Anyway, I bought it for my grandson. The boss is coming. Add your contact information. I'm afraid I won't be able to find you when I go shopping next time. You scan this. Come to you. Thank you, boss. So delicious. Come to Shiyu and break open the cucumber. Let everyone try it. How can cucumber be so delicious? You'll try it too. Have a taste. Everyone come and try it. This is too delicious. Give me £2. Oh no. I want £5. Okay. I want it too. I want it too. Come to Shiyu and install it for everyone. Okay. Why are so many people grabbing this cucumber? Is it so good? Uncle, come and try it too. So delicious. Yeah, it's really good. I want all the rest. Why do you want them all? Do you understand the rules? Go while queuing. You'll order more. I want £10. Hey. Wait until all the previous items are purchased. How about whatever is left is yours? This person is really. What did you buy that others bought? Okay. Do you understand the rules? Come to Shiyu and say it to everyone. The rest of these are worth half a basket. I've weighed you all. Half a basket is too little. Okay, that's it. Okay. Weight, kilogram. Unit price, yuan, kilogram. Gross weight 152.8 kilograms. Remove the basket and calculate 150 kilograms. How about 900 yuan in total? Okay, we'll scan it for you. You scan here. I transferred it to you. Hey, I got it, boss. Oh yes. It's Zhong Yu, the general manager of the Grand Hyatt Hotel. How about such delicious yellow rice again? You must call me. No problem. Walk slowly. Alipay received 200 yuan. Isn't it 100 yuan? Why so many? 100 yuan is wages. The other 100 yuan is a bonus. There are only 2 baskets of vegetables today, sold for more than 3,000 yuan. What if in the future can sell more? The bonus will also be higher. Thank you, Cheng Ji. This is according to the soup recipe. Soup cooked. The water is from Lingquan well. Soup base made from these ingredients. Such a face. It should taste better than before. Liu Jichuan Fresh Soup Restaurant Chain. Wow, it really is a super farm. This sip is so fragrant that it makes me confused. It will definitely sell well. Brother Cheng. Wow. What are you doing? Why does it smell so good? You're here just in time to try this noodle. Be careful, it's hot. Yeah. Yeah. Why is it so delicious? Brother Cheng, you are simply a god of cooking. Do you think this noodle can be a big seller? Absolutely. I think too. It's been a whole day. It's getting dark. There is no one in the car to come to eat. Maybe it's because of us. Is it near the university town? There are many young people. But I don't like homemade noodles. But no one came to eat. No matter how delicious it is, it's useless. Yes, the aroma of wine makes me afraid that the alley is deep. I thought of a good way. Will this work? Hope to arouse those. The rebellious psychology of young people. You go and hang it at the store's flash door. Good. Finished. Good. Oshiyu. I found you. It's hard to find your place of work. See you are finally here. This beauty. Looks so familiar. Old routine. Do you look familiar to a beautiful woman? Xingzhen, I really look familiar to her. I forgot who collected your Ganoderma lucidum. Oh yes. You are from Jishitang. Formal introduction. Jusiyu, a college student from Normal University. Jiang Cheng, Mom's taste boss. Do you really know each other? We see you. But what about the beauty of the Normal University campus? I saw the sign at the door saying, not delicious, no money required. True or false? I'm sure. I'm going to use this bowl of noodles. Take your pick of the late night snack scene. I want to try Boss Jiang's craftsmanship. He'll give you a free trial. If you think it tastes good, you have to help me promote it. Coming. Try it. That's it. Not even a bit fishy. What can be delicious? See you. Brother Cheng's noodles are really delicious. Isn't this just a bowl of noodles? What's delicious? Think of our internet celebrity meal outside. Which one is not more delicious than this one? Really delicious. You try it, okay? For your sake. I barely took a bite. Why is this noodle so delicious? No? Oh, I didn't expect the beautiful Lady Jew. There are also times when I devour food ravenously. A bowl of noodles for 3 mouthfuls of a campus beauty from Jew University. Coordinates Jinjie Mom's taste. Did you see? Mrs. Lee is gone, changed to such a stupid young man. Wish you city people have strong tastes. Just his bowl of clear noodle soup. I still want to dominate the night market street. Funny, right? Make him crazy. It will go bankrupt within a few days. Come on, come on. Could you please have something to eat inside? Check out Moments. The school beauty eats here. Where is it? Let me see. Mother's taste. That store. Look at the writing on the door. Bowl noodles dominate the late night snack street. Not delicious, no money required. A bit interesting. Let's go and have a try. It's okay. Bowl of clear noodle soup. They couldn't eat more than a few bites, so we have to come here again. This noodle is so delicious, right? Boss, have another bowl. I want to add a bowl. It's okay, even if it's really delicious. What's wrong? Just a bowl of noodles. You'll get tired of it after eating it a few times. Barbecue stall that can match you. Compared with my whole sheep haul. You are right. There is no store yet. He can do better than our 2 brothers. Let them be proud for a few days. There are times when they close. You'll go? Look, there are a lot of people here. Fortunately we came early. Otherwise, we won't even have a seat later. Estimate. They all join in the fun after seeing it in their circle of friends. As a result, I found out after eating it. This clear noodle soup is really delicious. No, this side is really amazing. Lin Shiyu. I'm here to eat. I'm not here to work for you for free, don't you think? Is Brother Cheng super powerful? Awesome, of course it's awesome. Treat me to a bowl of noodles. I gave him a day's work for free. The noodles are almost finished digesting. It's okay, he'll leave another bowl for you later. Kobayashi. Hey. Only 10 bowls of noodles. Add another sentence on the door sign. The last 10 bowls. Okay. Take a look. What a good business this is, but we have privileges. Change 10 bowls of noodles to 9 bowls. Leave a bowl for you. That's pretty much it. You see, the last 9 bowls. Is business so good? There do seem to be a lot of people. How about we try it too? Good. Sorry. Fully booked today. Either 2. Okay. There are so many people, maybe next time. Look at how delicious they are eating. Then let's wait a little longer. Hey. This classmate. Today's noodles are sold out. Come again tomorrow. Is it so hot? Then you'll try it again tomorrow. Okay. Walk slowly. So tired. Fortunately it's sold out. Otherwise I really can't stand it. So awesome today. Sold out in one day. Everyone worked hard today. Kobayashi, I have already transferred the money to you. Classmate Ju, see you. Please add my contact information. I will also transfer your wages to you. I'm not working for you. I don't want your wages. Okay. Then you'll put my wages in your name. Donate to Hope Primary School. You see. You are quite caring, right? Unexpectedly. You really changed. Come, let me buy you some water. Boss Jiang. We have been busy all day. Not even a bottle of drink. Just 2 glasses of mineral water. Then I can tell you. This is not ordinary water. This is Taishang Laojuan's elixir-making water. If you drink it, your tiredness this night will be wiped out. You just lied to Shiyu. Such a simple little girl, right? Taishang Laojuan's water. I don't believe it. I'm too tired. You'll drink first. How is it? Do you feel anything after drinking it? Refreshed? Feeling tired all over? Really, see you. I feel like after I finish drinking, not only do I not feel tired anymore, and I still feeling strong all over. Refreshing. How about you try? I don't drink it. How is it? This water. It's not like you are too fond of Laojun. It is the spiritual spring water in my space. Is true. Am I still Mr. Jiang now? A man's mouth is a lie. I don't believe it. Okay. You'll go get the 2 bowls of noodles left. Got it for both of you. We have finally reached this stage. This is the day I've been waiting for. Come. Thank you. Liu Jichuan Mutton Soup Chain Restaurant. Be careful and eat slowly. Whole Mutton Soup Chain Restaurant. So cool. I will tomorrow. I will definitely gain another 5 pounds. Oops. You're 5 pounds heavier and you're also the school beauty. Really annoying. I don't want to gain 5 pounds. It's getting late. Just go back and rest first. Good. Then you'll leave first. Goodbye. Sold out. Come again tomorrow. I'm not here to eat. Why is it you? Why is it you? The boy is quite capable. You dare to grab whoever Boss Ju wants. Sister Shu. Who are people willing to work for? That's her freedom too. You can't force people either. A Biao has a pretty tough mouth. Big brother. Just speak. Don't do it. Wasn't it very arrogant just now? It was just that I was young and ignorant. Okay, Ming Ren, don't tell secret words. I want you to fire Xiao Lin immediately. I will take her away tomorrow. Easy to say, easy to say. Then let's settle it like this. He'll come over to pick you up at 6 o'clock in the evening on the first day of the month. If you can't see anyone, I'm only asking you. A good man doesn't suffer the immediate consequences. The one named Biao. My arms are almost thicker than my thighs. How can I beat it? If only I could win with my words alone. All the noodles are sold out now. You'll go to the space to see. Have the newly planted ones grown well? Isn't it true that they all grew up in one day? This speed. It's amazing. First time using one click to collect everything. Reward. Do you think what I said is right? You are right about skills. What the hell? System, how to use this skill? As long as the host says. Do you think what I said is right? The other party will definitely answer. You are right. And do as you say. This super farm is awesome. You really can come up with whatever you want. Brother Cheng. Didn't I send you a message? He'll let you have a rest today and don't come over here. I have nothing to do. Besides, I'm not tired either. I'm afraid Sister Shu will cause trouble for you. What did you say? I said we don't have much ready goods today. Well, close when we sell out. Good. It's already 5:30. The noodles are almost sold out. You go back first. It's okay. I'm not tired. You'll wait for the guests to finish eating and leave. You'll leave after clearing the table. No need to wait. You should leave quickly. Brother Cheng. You are so anxious to let me go. You shouldn't be. Your girlfriend is coming. Then I can't leave even more. I want to see your girlfriend. What does it look like? I don't have a girlfriend. You go quickly. Don't delay your study. I'm already a senior. Everyone is looking for a job. What should I study? Coming. Xiao Lin, let's go with my sister. You'll raise your salary to 100 for 2 hours. It's better for you to suffer here. Sister Shu. I really don't want to go. Sister Shu. You came all the way here. You must be hungry, right? It's time to have a bowl of noodles before leaving. Do you think what I said is right? You are right. This skill is so useful, right? Kobayashi, go and make a bowl of noodles for Sister Shu. Good. Hey. Why did you sit down? Forgot about serious things. Be careful, Mr. Ju will slap you loudly. Hey. This big brother. Are you hungry too? I also want to eat a bowl of noodles. Tell me, am I right? You are right. Come. This noodle tastes really good. So full. Yes. First time to eat such delicious clear water. Have another bowl. Wrong. Why are we eating noodles? Right. Do serious things. Hey. Sister Shu. You also ate noodles. Do I need to settle the account? Tell me, am I right? You are right. Hey, a Biao. Is it time to settle your account? Do you think what I said is right? You are right. Sister Shu and Brother Biao. You see, I have eaten and drank enough today. Is it time to go back? Tell me, am I right? You are right. Kobayashi, you go back first. Wait for my notification tomorrow. I let you come and you come again. After all, they won't be able to stay for long if you leave leisurely. You'll think about it again. How can I completely help you solve it? This old lady. Brother Cheng. You are anxious for me to go back today. Is it because of Sister Shu? Yes. Thank you. You're welcome. Go back. Go back. Hello? Can I ask you something? You say. Please tell me about this place. Are there any restaurants that sell cucumbers? Like what? Cold cucumbers, pickled cucumbers, etc. No. I'm talking about yellow sold in the vegetable market. Could it be me? Do you remember? There's Zhong Yudao, Mr. Zhong of Grand Hyatt Hotel. Oh? I sold him cucumbers. Yes, it's you. Great, I finally found you. Boss, I miss your yellow claws every day. Not only cucumbers, and rice and wheat. What happened to the person named Jiang? As promised, leave the person to me. Actually didn't give it. When is not a mortal enemy of the Grand Hyatt Hotel. Lao Ju subordinate. Why are they here? Could it be? They also treat the little boss, cucumber interested, Sister Shu. I'm so unjust. You finished eating the noodles and left. What can I do? Stop talking nonsense. Hand over the person to me, otherwise I will never give up today. Yo. Who am I to be so arrogant? Don't even look at the little boss who covers him. Not Lin Hao under Zhong Yudao. Could Zhong Yudao also be interested in Xiao Lin? Interested? I said Lin Hao. If you don't live like a dog like Zhong Yudao, run out and bite someone randomly. Don't think him afraid of Zhong Yudao. Tell you even if he is here, I'm still not afraid of him. Smelly bitches, be careful when speaking. Believe it or not, Big Mouth will slap you. Come, do you dare to touch me? Hey. Sister Shu. Speak well if you have something to say. Why don't you leave first? Anyway, Xiao Lin is not here today either. It's useless no matter how much you yell. Biao, let's go. Sorry. Hello, my name is Lin Hao, nickname Madman. Hello, my name is Jiang Cheng. Don't say it yet. This nickname really lives up to its name. Later. The two of them are going to cause trouble for you again. Just call me. Make sure they don't dare to harass you again. You know them. They are from Qingxian Pavilion, just opposite the Grand Hyatt Hotel. Their boss's surname is Ju. Compete viciously with us all day long, also engaging in an extreme price war. There's really nothing we can do about it. Mr. Zhong went to the provincial capital to report, so you are in a hurry to buy cucumbers from me. It's because cucumbers are okay for sale in your hotel. More than okay. I'm not afraid to tell you anymore. It all depends on your cucumber. Who ate your cucumber? It's more delicious than big fish and meat, but only half a basket. Already sold out. Originally Sister Shu, you came here just to ask for someone from me. It's better now. She saw you in our store. Think again about the cucumbers you sell so much. Think again about the noodles in our store. Xiaolangju. You can think of it with your toes. It's the cucumber I sold you. Later. Say so. They weren't looking for you just now. Buy your cucumbers. Not before. From now on, I can't tell for sure. Boss Jiang. Your cucumber from now on. Our hotel is all inclusive, including the rice and wheat you mentioned. We also covered it all. Let's sign the contract right away. I will never let you suffer. Then you have to pack too much. Do we still have tomatoes in our store? Bamboo shoots pepper. There are many other dishes. If you don't want other hotels to compete with you, then you have to pack a lot. This? I have to go back and discuss it. After all, these ingredients, we also have signed supply contracts. There was only a temporary lack of cucumbers before. I bought half a basket along the way. Look, it's getting late now. If you stay, they'll treat you to a bowl of clear soup. As for this bowl of noodles, I originally kept it for myself to eat. You can decide after eating the noodles. Should you consider all-inclusive services? Okay. Come, have a taste. This is too delicious. Not only is cucumber noodles delicious, tomatoes are delicious too. This way, you can think about it carefully. Is it all-inclusive? Must be all-inclusive. Our hotel. It all depends on it. Call Mr. Jiang now. It's so late. Let your Mr. Jiang. Don't rush here in such a hurry. If there is anything else, we can talk about it tomorrow. That's not okay. Such an important thing. Long nights and many dreams. You have to finalize it quickly so you can rest assured. Then you'll go to the back and take a nap first. Call me when your boss comes. Oh good. Oops. Oh, Boss Jiang. I found you. Come. Oh, these are all grown in my land. You try it. Yeah. Just make this rice. And this okra. I also believe, Boss Jiang. Everything is good. This is an exclusive supply contract. The purchase price above. How appropriate do you think? It depends on how much you want to give. Then it's 100 yuan per pound. As long as it's of this quality. I charge as much as I have. No second price. 500 pounds of flour and 50,000 yuan of rice. Plus those dishes. A total of 70,000 yuan. This is the output of space in one day. I can sell 70,000 yuan in just one day. Not much faster than making money selling clear water. Okay, I can sign a contract for you. But there is one. I can be exclusive. I can only promise to stay close to Junyu first. When you have collected enough, I will sell it to others. This? Mr. Jiang. Seize it first and then talk about it. Don't let Xiang take the lead in the color pairing. That's right. Come. Hey, what's the matter? Mr. Jiang is not well. Fresh pavilion to us, challenged publicly. What did you say? Oops, Brother Jiang. Xiang welcomes us. Launched a cooking challenge. You must save our Junyu. Me. How can I say? I will make noodles. This has nothing to do with craftsmanship. What's delicious is the ingredients. Oops. Brother Jiang. Stop being humble. Stop being humble. Xiang. Know our chefs inside and out. How many kilograms do we have? They know too well. This time they came prepared. It will definitely prick our weaknesses. So I thought. A chef they didn't expect. Catch them off guard. Oops. Brother Jiang. Just help us, Grand Hyatt. Okay, I can help. But there are 3 conditions. Say. First, I am not guaranteed to win. Secondly, I want to cook in the kitchen. When it's done, take it out. Third, I don't use my real name. Not showing true face. Everyone listens to Brother Jiang. Everyone. This is the one I invited. Mysterious chef Mr. Jiang. It's not that I don't trust your craftsmanship. It's Xinjiang Pavilion who knows everything about us. It's like we know them all. They all invited foreign aid. We must also be prepared. Hope everyone understands. The question has already been asked on the other side. This time it's better than salmon. Loser. Hotel in the future. No more salmon allowed. They are so insidious. Salmon. It is one of the most ordered seafood. He just wants to kill us. We've already beaten it. Promotion of free tasting for all. The Book of War is hanging in front of the Xinjiang Pavilion. It will definitely attract a lot of people. Instead of complaining. If you think about how to make this. There are only vegetables and no fish in my space. I have no advantage over salmon. But I could use more ingredients on the side dishes. And the recipe for making soup has also been added. You'll give it a try. Since it is a fish. Then let's make some soup. Xiao Ji, hurry and prepare ingredients for Mr. Jiang. Just the ingredients I brought. Just add salmon. Mr. Jiang. Do you believe he can win? I don't know either. But I always feel that he is not simple. There is no other way now. Take it all in. The salmon from Xinjiang Pavilion is out. I brought a plate over. Population is melting. The ingredients alone have already defeated us. This sauce is secretly made. The taste is very unique. We're afraid. The simpler way. The more technology is tested. This new chef they hired. There are really 2 brushes. This dish is rated by industry. It has reached the highest level of level 10. It can't be surpassed at all. Oops. We lost. Let's not raise others' ambitions either. Destroy one's prestige. Maybe Mr. Jiang. Can I beat them to a draw? Yeah. Hope it's a draw. Young man. Look at your age. I just joined the apprenticeship not long ago. 3 months. She became so skilled at cutting in 3 months. Pretty good and talented. My teacher always says him stupid. A little confident. Believe in yourself. Tell you a secret. Actually, I've never cooked salmon at all. So don't feel stupid. I've never cooked salmon before. Also confident. What are you afraid of? Mr. Jiang. Okay. Cut it quickly. It's too late. Xiao Ji. At 5 o'clock in a while. You serve the soup. Remember, just soup. Don't want anything else. The salmon will have to wait until the soup is finished. Take it out again. Okay, Mr. Jiang. Mr. Zhong. The matter has been handed over to Xiaoge. I won't wait here anymore. It's time to open the door over there too. Xiaolin had to squat at the door at night. Mr. Jiang. Are you waiting for the salmon to come out of the pan? No more waiting. The soup is ready. Just wait for the time to come out of the pot. It's the same whether I'm here or not. Mr. Jiang. Are you planning to run away? There are people who run away in the middle of the game. Except for guilty conscience. I really can't think of any other reason. I said it all. I still have something to do over there. Don't you understand? If you have anything to do, you should have said it earlier. Adding to the chaos in the name of helping. I even doubt you came to trick us. If you believe me. You don't believe me even if I'm not here. If you don't believe me. I don't believe it even among you. So whether to stay or not, it's really no difference. Lin Hao. Send Mr. Jiang off. Yes. Isn't it that he has given up all his options? You cheated us out of such a huge sum. Why are you so polite to him? I had to ask him to come. And he also said that he may not win. Say it again. And he's counting on his cucumbers to save you. He's the cucumber seller. Oh, Mr. Zhong. You are confused. How could you take such a big thing? Leave it to him. Let's not talk about this for now. Let's take a look at his salmon first. What else is there to see? Now I can make any dish better than him. Let's take a look at Mr. Jiang's fish first and then. Let's go. Xiaoge. What did you say just now? Did Mr. Jiang tell you something? Nothing. Mr. Zhong asked you something. You don't want to do it anymore, do you? He said. In fact, this is also his first time doing salmon 1. Mr. Zhong, you heard it all? That's it, you still have to watch the sex he does. He is taking the future of our entire Grand Hyatt. Just kidding. It's better to make another one quickly. Hope it's too late. Is this soup poured? Hey, wait a minute. Shut up, you have no place to speak here. Master. When Tang was made by watching Mr. Jiang, I think. On what occasion do you talk nonsense? This is what your master taught you. Soup that was hard to make. You have to take a taste anyway. Lao Li. Before you were my little apprentice, aren't you timid? Why are you so tough today? I'm surprised too. Is this soup really unusual? Xiaoge. Do you really believe Mr. Jiang? Yeah, I believe him. That's okay. Boil the pot. Yeah. Very fresh soup flavor. Try it quickly. It tastes so good. I can't even describe it. How delicious it is. Hey. What benefits did Jiang give you? Are you trusting him like this? It may smell good, but it may taste good. On the contrary, it smells better. The more I drink it, the more disappointed I feel. This is the gap. Anyone who works in catering knows this. Master, take a bite. Just have a taste. Okay, just take a bite. It doesn't taste good, right? This? It definitely doesn't taste good. Look at his expression. Hurry up and fall down. No. Me. We won. I'm sure we'll win this time. This soup is more than 10 levels. I've never drank in my life. Such delicious salmon soup. Oops. Brother Jiang, oops. I came here specifically to thank you. That soup won. Yes, won. King Xiang even admitted defeat. The chef they hired. Are you still asking me about you? I ignored him. Then you'll be relieved. This is Grand Hyatt Supreme membership card. Only a few shareholders have it. Take this card to our place. All free. Now give it to Brother Jiang. A little thought. Don't dislike it. Then I won't be polite. Oh, right. One more thing. I want to buy. How to make your soup. This is the contract price. It's easy to tell. Soup is the role played by the soup recipe. Only I can use this skill. How can I sell this? This method of making is actually very simple. Mainly it's a matter of ingredients. As long as you just make it with the ingredients I sold you. Oh no. We all tried it last night. This soup is delicious. But it's always almost meaningless. I'm just thinking. You must have some secret recipe. There is no secret recipe. It mainly depends on the ingredients and techniques. What about this technique? It's useless to teach, mainly relying on one's own understanding. But as for the ingredients, just use it every time. The ingredients I gave you. And then in the soup, add a little more flour I gave you. In this case, every drop of soup. All with the help of food ingredients. Then it will taste better. Although it falls short of the quality of my handmade work, Dan is the signature dish of your restaurant. There is no problem. Gee, that's great. Then we just sign this contract. Is 200,000 enough? It's just such a hodgepodge. Actually sold for 200,000. Good. Then we are today. Just give this contract. Oops. Brother Jiang is so refreshing. What happens next? Come to me directly. Good. Happy cooperation. Happy cooperation. See you later, brother. Brother Cheng. Tomorrow night. Is something wrong? It's okay. What's wrong? Me. Our classmates get together. Let me bring my boyfriend there. You can. Are you pretending to be my boyfriend? Do I have to take my boyfriend with me? That's it. I had an affair with a girl. She always shows off to me. Her rich second-generation boyfriend said if I didn't have a boyfriend. She took her boyfriend's driver, introduced to me. I'm really angry. Just say that I have a boyfriend. She insisted on letting me bring my boyfriend, attend a party. I'm riding a tiger, but it's hard to get off. Can you pretend to be my boyfriend? No problem. He'll go with you. Thank you, Cheng Ji. Wow, you hide it so deeply. I didn't expect you to actually have a boyfriend. The goddess has her own boyfriend. So sad. Yoshiyu. You really brought your boyfriend here. This is my boyfriend. Opened his own investment company. What about you? What does your boyfriend do? Why ask so many questions? It's not a household registration check. How? Can't you say it? Shouldn't it? As a homeless person, right? I opened a noodle shop. I remembered. Aren't you? Are you the boss of Mom's Taste? I have seen you. It turned out to be a noodle shop. No wonder Shiyu wants to work there. It turns out I'm getting along with my boss. What kind of boss is he? How much money can you have? Come on, Mr. Feng, sit down quickly. I want to sit with him. So many locations. Why do you have to sit in his seat? Hey, he is Yang's boyfriend. Don't hurt your harmony, everyone. I can sit anywhere. I said to you. What do you think? Find a boyfriend like this. What future can there be? Can I help you find a good job? What I like is his person. It's not his money. Whether he is a boss or an ordinary person, it doesn't affect my feelings for him. Yang. Where do you work now? Benchang Media. The internship salary is 9,000 yuan. My husband found it for me. Chiyu, I'm sorry. Don't mind. I don't mean to show off. It doesn't matter. I'm not envious. Let's see what's not enough. Just click. My treat. Can I order another salmon soup? I heard it tastes good. It's just so expensive. The portion is 1888. Only enough for one person to drink. Salmon soup. This is the most popular move of Jiang right now. Soup is still cheap. The bottom salmon sells for 3. Not everyone can afford it. But no matter how delicious the current soup is, not as good as Mr. Jiang, the pot that I cooked with my own hands. That's really top-notch food. Fish is also delicious. Indescribable. Jingran ate Mr. Jiang's homemade food. I heard about that pot of soup. Give us one of the best in the market. Tasted by the rich. Ordinary people can't tell the difference at all. Of course. My husband's second uncle. But I am very familiar with Mr. Zhong from Jiangyu. What do you say? Your girlfriend follows you. I'm really wrong. I'm afraid. You even bought her a drink. I can't even make 3 delicious soups. Tonight, you'll let her know a lot for you. A bowl for everyone here. Except you. That thing. I can drink as much as I want. How much more do you want? Then please treat me to this meal tonight. Can you afford it? Please take it easy on this table. Please take it easy on this table. But I don't want to invite. If you don't have money, just say you don't have money. Why don't you want to? What are you pretending to be? Isn't it just a bowl of soup? What you drink is not pure at all. No matter how precious your soup is, not as good as Cheng Ji's noodle soup. Poor people just don't know anything. Noodle soup for a few dollars. Dare to compare with Jigan's soup. You. Waiter pays the bill. Sir. Your consumption this time. The total is 35,000 yuan. Do you have a membership card? Forgot to bring it. I am your Mr. Zhong, friend's nephew. Come often. Wouldn't it be enough to just give a discount? Sorry, sir. We have to see the card. Membership card. I do have one here. Chiyu. Is your boyfriend drinking too much? This membership card. Either gold or silver. What is he? Haircut card? Grand Hyatt membership card recharge. Recharge minimum 50 yuan. Oh, Chiyu, it's not me who is talking about you. How you choose your boyfriend? Not really good. If you are poor, be poor. Still love to pretend. They think the card is fake. What do you think about this lady? This is indeed a membership card, and you can also order it directly for free. What? What do you, little waiter, know? Do you dare to give him a free bill? Aren't you afraid of being fired? I don't understand, but at least I won't take the Supreme membership card as a barbershop membership card. Supreme membership card. How is this possible? There are only 3 Supreme membership cards. Where did the 4th picture come from? Your card is definitely fake. If I say Zhong Yudao gave it to me. Mr. Zhong, general manager of Grand Hyatt. No need for Supreme card at all. Where did I get the card for you? You lied. It's too low level, right? Mr. Zhong is in the lobby. Why don't you ask? Did you hear that Mr. Zhong is here? Ask him to testify for you. You can invite me. You'll go, you'll go. Where is the fake Supreme card you mentioned? Here. This card. Mr. Zhong, you are also very angry, right? That liar who stole food and drink, right there. Brother Cheng didn't cheat on you by eating or drinking. This is the card given by Mr. Zhong. It's time. You are still defending him. You must be a liar with him. That's right, Chiyu. You should apologize at this time. Stop asking for face. Yo, oops. Brother, you never said a word to me. I can let Lin Hao pick you up. Brother Zhong, I just had a casual meal with my classmates. I don't think it's a big deal. I didn't tell you. Oops. Okay. You are here. Just to give brother face. Waiter. Remember this face clearly. From now on, when he comes, it doesn't matter whether he takes the card or not. All free. Okay, Mr. Zhong. Okay, then I still have things to do. I won't accompany you anymore. Let's have a drink together some other day. Okay, you are busy first. By the way, Brother Zhong. What's wrong? Is your group still short of people? Well, it depends on who it is. My girlfriend Lin Shu. She also studied hotel management. Xiao Lin. Easy to say. Look back. I asked Lin how to arrange for her first in the group. Do business you are familiar with. Let her follow Xiao Songqian when she becomes a full-time employee. A few million a year is more than enough. Then thank you, Brother Zhong. Why are you so polite? Oh boy. You'll grow some eyes in the future. Dogs look down on people. It's easy to offend people. Yang. I'm not talking about you. Look at Ren Shiyu's boyfriend. They all call Mr. Zhong brothers. Give people an annual salary of several million. Your job with a monthly salary of several thousand. It seems a bit unsatisfactory. Husband. Isn't Oabu very familiar with Mr. Zhong? You ask him to arrange one for me too. Millions of jobs. Roll. It's so late. Can I still enter the school? The dormitory is closed. You'll just find a small hotel. Just stay one night. It's not safe for girls to stay in small hotels otherwise. You go to my store and make do with it. You sleep in the bedroom in the backyard. I can just sleep in the lobby. How can I sleep in the lobby? Isn't this bad? 2 tables pushed together. Isn't it just a ready-made bed? Aren't we 2 lovers? Just sleep on the same bed. Lin Hao, stop talking nonsense. Xiaolin is not just any girl. I just think. You all have this kind of relationship. Isn't this normal? Okay, please send it to us. Should. If you want to take a bath, new towels are in the bathroom cabinet. Just use shampoo or whatever. No need to be restrained. Thank you so much, Brother Cheng. If you call me for anything, you'll be in the lobby. Good. Then I'm leaving. Brother I Cheng. Thank you for that. You've been talking all night. I'm saying thank you for taking me in. Thank you also. Help me solve so many things. And pretending to be my boyfriend. There's also the matter of Sister Shu. You helped me so much. I don't even know how to repay you. You're welcome. I just wanted to help you. I'm not trying to get you anything. Go to bed early. Actually, you can also draw something. Jiang Cheng, this little girl trusts you. You can be a beast. Instead of thinking about those messy things, why don't you think about what to do next? How to make more money? There is still too little space. And it has always been produced out of thin air. Sooner or later, people will be suspicious. Sources of food and vegetables. If it's a space dish, it can grow so well outside. That'll be fine. Place of space. Isn't it a super farm? Then all my wishes should come true. I use super farm. Seeds produced. Planted in the land of my hometown, then water it with water from the spiritual spring. That's right, just do it. Acheng. My mother said you opened a noodle shop in the city. Why are you back farming again? The noodle shop closed down. My noodle shop, mainly operating night market. You'll just go there tonight. Then what are you doing? Plant at this time. It's out of season if it doesn't grow. I am a classmate of agricultural university. New varieties develop. Not only does it grow fast, it's delicious. You will know when you plant it. No matter what new species, they all have to grow a little bit longer. It will definitely be too late to plant seeds at this time. He was deceived by his classmates. Who says it's not? What else is delicious? Isn't that the case? I must have been deceived about how delicious it can be. Second uncle. I want to ask you for help. Help me take over the idle land in the village. All gathered together. I want to rent it uniformly. I have just finished planting my land in these 2 days. Are you thinking about planting other people's land again? I don't know what time it is. This season is not suitable for renting. Isn't this a waste of money? Second uncle. My new breed grows fast. Just help me. There are a lot of idle fields in our village. This matter is very easy to handle. I'm just afraid of the money you worked so hard to save. Lose here. If you have confidence, it'll be no problem. Don't worry, uncle. I'm sure. This cucumber is only a few days old. This has grown up. This new variety is really good. I just don't know how it tastes. Grow so fast. Isn't this the same as other chickens that are slaughtered in 2 months? The same. It's definitely not as good as when it was full grown. Come and try it, everyone. This looks like that. Why does it taste so delicious? This new variety is not simple. It really grows fast and tastes delicious. Jiang Cheng, you kid can do it. I thought you rented so much land. That a bit will definitely be compensated. Looks like he's making a lot of money. Delicious is delicious. It's just that retail sales are slow. They'll all end up in the ground before they are all sold out. But if you don't retail, just wholesale. Every supermarket you see has a fixed supply of goods. You even have a greenhouse base at home. Just like Happy Buy, you can buy it. It's simply impossible. Buy agricultural products from outside. That's it, Jiang Cheng. If you want me to tell you, sell it at a low price. It's better than living in a rotten field. Yes. Mainly because you have too many. Delicious is delicious. Just no sales. No matter how delicious it is, it's all in vain. Just wait to lose money. It's not a big deal to lose money. I won't lose money. If you don't believe me, let's wait and see. Don't think that agricultural products are so easy to wholesale. If you touch it, your head will bleed. When you cry. I'm a person who has been here. When did you come back? What is this doing? Farming. Good farming. It's pretty good in my hometown. My car beauty shop. Also half dead. Sometimes I also think, just close the door and set up a street stall. Right. Notification of classmates in the group saw it. Let's go together. It's been a long time since we all got together. Where? Grand Hyatt Hotel. The most luxurious place in our city. Oh? What's wrong? Afraid of high consumption. It's okay. Someone's treating me. No, I go there often recently. A little tired. Yes, yes, yes. You often pass by the door, right? Good. Our agricultural growers are here. How's the farming going? Whose ancestors were not farmers? I can't do it anymore. I also go home and farm. Go with my buddy. Okay, sit down. Big farmers. Ladies and gentlemen, our goddess of wisdom is here. Long time no see. The goddess remains. It's a pity that I'm already fat. As long as you have money. What goddess can handle it? Who said we? Who are you? Yo. Brother Tiger. Come, sit. Brother Tiger, you here? You are the boss of the construction site. Among our group of people, you are the most capable. Say a few words. Right. Hey, I have spent the past 2 years. I rely on Brother Tiger a lot. Brother Tiger is really capable. Just let Brother Hu say a few words. Since everyone, let me say a few words. Then I will briefly say a few words. Everyone graduated from high school, unlike me, Shen Hu. Dropped out of high school before finishing high school. What's the reason? I think everyone knows. It's really strange for Jiang Cheng to talk about this. If it weren't for you, Brother Tiger will not be expelled from school. How about taking advantage of today's opportunity? Please give me an honest apology. This matter. It seems to be Shen Hu's fault. When Shen Hu wanted to attack Jiang Cheng. That's why I accidentally hurt the teacher. Dissuaded from school. This is Jiang Cheng's fault. I remember. Brother Hu teaches Jiang Cheng a lesson. Is it because of who are you? Brother Tiger is very fond of Goddess Hu. Very infatuated. Are you planning to renew your relationship? What? Stop talking nonsense. Were you young then? Class beauties like who are you? Who doesn't like it? Just that garbage in Jiang Cheng. How dare you talk to her? Then who will I do if I don't do him? That's right. That Jiang Cheng? I mean, I didn't think you deserved it at the time. I don't mean now. Don't take it to heart. You are young and frivolous. I understand. Brother Tiger is right. That Chinese teacher. It's just a brain disease. You said if she doesn't help Jiang Cheng, isn't this a problem? Deserve a beating. Yao Jin, what are you talking about? It's reasonable to beat people. Quite capable. Wang Shuai, the car wash business has been good recently. Barely enough to live on. No need to ask for help. What do you mean? No point in going to the toilet. Sorry. Wang Shuai. Hello, Mr. Wu. Why are you here? Oh, he is really Wang Shuai. You kid is not clever at all. Like an elm lump. Even if you drink, you can bump into her, right? Yes, I didn't pay attention. Future store business, I need you to take more care of me. Easy to say. Yo. Isn't this Wang Shuai? Who said just now that you don't want to ask for help? Like a dog now. Isn't this Wu Jun? How? He didn't even come to say hello when he saw me. Brother Tiger. Why are you here? This is not like our high school classmates. Have a little get together. It turns out that Wang Shuai is not. Mr. Wang is your high school classmate. You'll let our car go from now on. Everyone go to Mr. Wang's place to wash themselves. Go to the branch office too. Thank you, Mr. Wu. Thank you, Mr. Wu. Thank you, Mr. Wu. Don't thank me either. Yo. Didn't you say you don't ask for help? Don't you have to rely on our brother Tiger? That's right, Wang Shuai is just saying thank you enough. You must not bow high or low. Let's have a drink with our brother Tiger. It's okay if you don't kowtow. Don't go too far. Yo. Our great agriculturist has spoken. What's wrong? I want to stand up for my classmates. Can you afford this? Wu Jun. Do you understand? Some of these people are not worthy of being my classmates. Hey, I understand Brother Tiger. Brother Tiger understands. He'll switch to a car wash shop tomorrow. Change them all. Wang Shuai, ignore them. Car wash business. Let me help you. Let's go. Yo. I feel like running away when I'm not full. I'm afraid I won't be able to pay for food. It's okay. Today's meal. Mr. Shen paid the bill. Just don't be afraid. No need for you to pay. You are such a sour person. Probably the first time here. Such a high-end restaurant. Just take a few bites. It's enough for you to fuck for a year. Cucumbers and tomatoes. He'll treat you to this meal. You please. Do you know how much this table costs? Do you think this is a small restaurant? A meal costs several thousand yuan. This table is 50,000. You can't make 50,000 a year, right? Wenko is the best in our city at Grand Hyatt. You country bumpkin. He even boasted about treating guests to haiku. Can you afford it? Don't be angry on my behalf. Not worth it. Waiter pays the bill. Mr. Jiang, you are free of charge. What is free of charge? Waiter, you are an acquaintance of Jiang Cheng. To support Jiang Cheng. Tell you. If our brother Tiger really leaves, your order will be ruined. You have to pay for it yourself. Mr. Gong is our distinguished guest at Grand Hyatt. When will he come? No matter how much you spend, it's free. This is what we call real people not showing their faces, unlike some people. What to pretend to be. I don't believe you are that awesome. Call your lobby manager over. Let me see how you still pretend. What's going on? Brother Cheng, why didn't you tell me in advance that you were coming? I will have dinner with my classmates. Didn't want to disturb you. Jiang Cheng, you can do it. Come for a meal and hire someone to pretend to be the boss. Return to the city, brother. Learn from our brother Tiger. Why don't you let him call you Dad Jiang? Boy, be careful what you say. What if you don't pay attention? Aren't you Jiang Cheng, a found dog? I have brother Tiger's support. Brother Hao. Wu Jun. Mr. Wu calls him brother. His name is brother Jiang Cheng. Isn't Jiang Cheng the most powerful? Brother Hao. Wu Jun. Who are you calling brother? Who? Asian who? This is brother Hao. He is the right-hand man of Mr. Zhong of Junyu, at the Grand Hyatt, except for Mr. Zhong, it's him. Haha. Brother Hao, oh. Admire for a long time. I am sinking. Mr. Wu, right? Buy it from the car dealership my brother mentioned. Cough. Brother Cheng is our distinguished guest at Grand Hyatt. In our Grand Hyatt, you can pay directly for free. From now on, all the cars of our travel agency will be. They are all taken care of by Mr. Wang. Whether it's a company car or a private car, all maintained here. Oh, it's easy to say, easy to say. Grand Hyatt members, you need to start with a minimum of 500,000 before recharging. There are only 3 Supreme membership cards. He is someone like Mr. Li from Tongchuang Technology. Only worthy. Tongchuang Technology. My God. How valuable is the membership card? So let's talk about people like Mr. Li. You have to use a card to make purchases for free. Jiang Cheng. What is his hidden identity? You can actually get free of charge by swiping your face. So awesome. Jiang Cheng. How did you get so good at it? Me. Just rely on farming. He'll take you back, Brother Cheng. No need. Wang Shuai is driving. I can just take his car back. Oh, that's right, Brother Cheng. Mr. Zhong said he wanted to double the amount of goods. Pull it tomorrow. Okay. There are also peppers, tomatoes and zucchini over there. He'll pick more for you right away. Okay. He'll come find you early tomorrow morning. Okay. Then he'll get busy first. Okay. Dude. You really rely on farming. My dear Junyu, of course I only know how to farm. So how delicious is your food? Then he jumped into the seat of Junyu. You go pick 2 cucumbers from my field. You'll know after you try it. Although the ones grown inside are not as good as those grown in space. It is also the seeds of space that are planted. Irrigation by spiritual spring water again. And other similar vegetable grains. Still a lot more delicious. Okay. I will go to your field to plant cucumbers now. Okay, let's go. Hey. This Jiang Cheng really relies on growing vegetables. What's the relationship with Mr. Zhong? It looks like this. You two take advantage of the darkness. Pick some yellow for me from the fields in Jiang Cheng. And tomatoes. Let me take a look at this kid. Is it because of these rotten dishes? It can be mixed like this. But the food at Junyu is really delicious. Go, go, go. It turns out he is Mr. Jiang, who supplies the Grand Hyatt. Zhong Yudao hid it tightly. Afraid that we might steal his goods. How to get him to supply goods to our supermarket? Come, come, come. I heard that the land in Jiang Cheng is not used for farming. This tomato smells delicious. You'll try it. You foodie. Isn't it just a tomato? Never seen the same. Delicious. You try it. It's delicious. Just how it feels. A bit worse than that of Grand Hyatt. Aren't used dishes also sent by Jiang Cheng? That's all done. It's normal that this wasn't done well enough. Anyway, they are delicious. Who is there? We need to find someone quickly to give this land to. Otherwise, sooner or later, people will miss you. Brother Tiger, Tiger brother. Stolen, stolen. Ouch, ouch. Secretly. What is stealing? That's called picking some things along the way. Hey, hey, hey. Try it quickly. How have you bitten this before? There is no good one. It was discovered when we were picking it. Just ran away. Me. Delicious, Brother Tiger. Not bad. It seems that this kid from Jiang Cheng, it's because of these dishes that I became famous. Brother Tiger, do you want to get close to him? Maybe you can even get a piece of the pie. That's right. It's so damn close. He can rely on. We can also rely on. Do you mean? Go and find me that boy named Shichu. Good to go. You phone. Fermented bean curd. How is it? Is anyone willing to try it? I've been to 5 stores. They all have fixed suppliers. No other supplies will be accepted. Our food is good food. Everything is difficult at the beginning. Today is the first day of sales. Yeah. How's it going over there? I also promoted 5 companies. Still not working. Why don't you go back first? I am tired enough from working at Grand Hyatt. Just 1 weekend off. Come over and help me. What do you mean? Then you helped me so much. Can't I help you? Could it be? Do you think I'm stupid? Can't sell it. I can't sell it myself. Isn't it because I abandon you that I despise myself? Then you'll come back tomorrow. Good. Then why don't you go to the opposite side? Take a break at the cold drink shop. You'll finish selling this last one. Then he'll take you to dinner. He'll take you home after dinner. Me. I want to eat your cooking. Good. Then go back to the noodle shop. He'll do it for you. Good. Hey Dong. Who are you? Hello manager. My name is Jiang Cheng. Sorry to bother you. I want to sell you something. Vegetables we grow ourselves. Hope you can join our happy shopping mall. No need, no need. We have our own vegetable base. I think we will give up on ourselves. Use yours. Manager our vegetables. It's a friendly and affordable way to eat. The vegetables in your vegetable base. Non-conflicting. Okay, let's go now. You'll have some distinguished guests later. Okay. I won't delay you in entertaining your distinguished guests. Okay. But I still hope you will try it. Thank you. Okay. What the hell? Oh, I told you not to. Oh, I told you not to. Xiao Huang, chairman, how to get a cucumber? Is this from our supermarket? Oh no. A young man just came here to sell vegetables. I rejected him. He insisted on keeping a cucumber. I'm about to throw it away. Hey, wait a minute. Give me the cucumber. Go and chase that young man back. What? Find him. If you can find him, don't come back. Oh good. He'll go right away. How did you find it? Not found. I also checked the surveillance in the supermarket. As soon as he left the supermarket, just disappeared. Go to King Street. Oh, okay. Chairman, please. Why is the door locked? Chairman. How do you know? He is the owner of this noodle shop. Zhong Yudao, that old fox. Hide Mr. Jian very well. I thought I couldn't find anyone like this. Didn't I still hear about this? The chairman is still awesome. You two are a step too late. The owner of this store? With his buddy. Just finished eating and left. Will he come tomorrow? Yo can't come. His boss is very lazy. It turns out, come once in a while. Only 50 bowls are sold a day. Now I'm only here on weekend nights. 2 nights worth a week's worth of noodles. 350 bowls in total. 175 bowls a day. Don't sell more than 1 bowl. Wouldn't it be better for him to be lazy? No need to steal your business. My business is very good. I'm not afraid of him whether he can open the door or not. Do you have his contact information? I'm not familiar with him. Why do I need his contact information? Do you know who has it? Go grab a random college on the street. Maybe they have it. Xiao Huang, please hurry up and find out. Yes. Son, how is it? You'll just say it. No market. No matter how good the dish is, it's all in vain. You invited so many people. Help you collect the food. 50 yuan per person per day. Just wait and pay to your death. Old rogue. What did you say? Jiang Cheng. All the idle land in BA has been taken away. The purpose is not just to let you make more money. Now you have collected the money. Jiang Cheng encountered some difficulties. You are watching a joke here. He lost all his pants. Do you still think about him making money? Do you really think that money is so easy to earn? Okay. Say less. You farmed before. That's compensation. Renjia Jiang Cheng. Do you have to pay compensation too? You have to say more. I'm not polite to you anymore. It's okay, son. It's okay to lose money. At least we still have so much to eat. What's wrong? Not hungry either. Yeah. Mr. Jiang, do you still remember me? It was really rude before. I apologize to you. This is us. The boss of Happy Buying. Dong Zong. Hello, Mr. Dong. That's it. Your cucumbers are very good. Can I try some of your other vegetables? Okay, come on. You try it. You also have a try. Not bad. Very good. Manager Huang, let's talk about cooperation. Mr. Jiang, what are we planning to do? Sign a sales contract with you. Your vegetables only need. Give us 20% profit can be sold in our store. What do you think? Son. 20%. Okay. 20% is absolutely fine. Manager Huang, why did you suddenly agree to sell my vegetables? And I also gave such a big discount. This is all thanks to our President Dong. It was she who insisted on finding you. We even went to my mother's noodle shop. It took a lot of effort to find this place. I know you are a supplier of Grand Hyatt. That's why I want to find you. Before, it was Zhong Yudao who hid you so well. Otherwise I would have been here long ago. So that's it. We sincerely cooperate with you. Therefore, this preferential intensity already given to the maximum. We happily shop at the supermarket. There are several chains across the country. You should know this. We are planning. Your vegetables are promoted nationwide. Of course the premise is the planting area can keep up with. Don't worry about this. Most of the land in our village, it's all in my hands now, if not enough. There are also vacant lots in neighboring villages, and we also have enough picking hands. If this can be done to form in terms of industrial chain, then I can open a company. Recruiting regular employees. Then you can become a super farmer. It's such a discount, let's finish talking about it. It's time for us to talk about other things too. Your vegetables must sign for us. Exclusive agency contract. As for cooperation with other supermarkets, you must refuse. You see. You must refuse. You see. Very reasonable. But let's sign for 1 year first. If the cooperation is pleasant, can be continued. Good. Good. We arranged for a car to come early in the morning. You'll make the advertising banner tonight. The first batch of trial sales will be held tomorrow. We will arrange 2 exhibitions tomorrow. Within urban area, available in 8 supermarkets at the same time. Goodbye Manager Huang. Goodbye Mr. Dong. Lao Jiang, congratulations. Your son is successful. Right now. He's about to become a super farmer. Ha. I didn't expect that either. I never thought he could make it. Our son. Really promising. Congratulations. What congratulations? What they just said was pre-sale. Do you know what sales means? Do you know what sales means? If you don't sell well, I definitely won't give you that many stalls. When you get there, the contract was also signed. You can't cooperate with other supermarkets. You can only look at your own dishes. Rot in the ground. Yo hey. The path I took back then. Do you want to go on one more time? Old road. You talk about my son again and again. I've endured it too. If you say it again, I can't bear it anymore. Oops. Why are you so anxious? Isn't what I said true? You have so many cucumbers and tomatoes. Want to sell out all at once. Stop talking about you. Even big supermarkets can't do it. Say it again. That's the vegetable market. Most people's first choice. Oh, sooner or later. This dish is going to suck. You just can't pay that much. Can't earn much. Okay, Dad, why bother with him? Wait until I sell out all the vegetables. Of course he has nothing to say. What are you pretending to be? I think you sold out. Fuck you. Dad. Dad, calm down. Brother Tiger, I asked my dad to find out everything. Jiang Cheng seeds. It was a gift from his classmate at the agricultural university. Your dad's old naughty guy. Believe it or not, this is in the village. It's not a secret. Gong Cheng got the seeds from his classmates. Then planted in the ground. Watering, weeding. No pesticides, no fertilization. It took more than half a month to grow. Not to mention it tastes better and lasts longer. Better than ordinary dishes. More than twice as good. Brother Hu, hurry up and ask around. Which classmate from Jiang Cheng is in the agricultural university? Let's get the seeds here. We can also make a fortune. Okay. You'll check it out right now. This is it. Mr. Jiang, you are here. You see so many people queuing up. It seems our promotion last night was spot on. Purchase limit. Right. Purchase limit. Each person can buy up to 2 kilograms of each vegetable. £2. This is too little, right? Oh, that's a lot. I just registered and queued up last night. Just over 300 people. This is still the first day. There will only be more in the future. More than 300 people. Right. One person buys 2 pounds. That's more than 600 kilograms. So many kinds of vegetables. How many kilograms does this weigh? Then this doesn't count those who haven't been assigned a number. Son, our food. No need to worry about selling. Yes. The manager is out of stock. Oh? Xiao Liu. Arrange warehouse to replenish goods quickly. Brother Jiang. Yeah. Isn't it just an ordinary home-cooked meal? You specifically asked me to come over to eat. Is there any explanation? Brother. You'll keep it a secret first. Try these dishes. What's the difference? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. How do you feel, bro? The dishes on the right all win. Without exception. The craftsmanship of 2 chefs. Oh? Then I understand. The ingredients are different. Yeah. The one on the left was bought at Happy Mall. The one on the right is Qingxian Pavilion. The latest high-end health dishes. This is a high-end health dish. It's definitely better than the one bought from Happy. I said, Brother Cheng, how can you still laugh? This is stealing our business. But Yo. Everyone is here. Who allowed you in? Dana phone. I heard about Qingxian's high-end dishes. It was given by you. Oops. Yes, Mr. Jiang. Don't blame me either. After all, business is hard to do now. Meet a good project. Not easy. A good project is this high-end one. Yes, this dish. I spent a lot of money. Just waiting to make a lot of money. To tell you the truth, I invested most of my fortune in it. Just to cultivate these. High-end cuisine. Dana Feng, who cut most of his net worth. You're not afraid of losing everything. Well, see. Walk slowly without seeing anyone off. What can I do? Is our Grand Hyatt really going to lose? You didn't eat it. The food I bought for Happy. Is it different from the dish for Jiang Yu? It's indeed different. Isn't it because the batches are different? Is that why it's different? Hey. Not because of this. It's because it's different originally. I bought it for Happy. It is a low to medium-end green root that is friendly to the people. I gave it to Jiang Yu. It's a high-end health regimen. Oops. Because I was busy farming before, harvesting cucumbers a day late. I didn't expect this cucumber. Not only does it not age, but it also tastes better. This time I waited 10 days to come. I don't know if it will taste better. Come and try one. Yeah. This quality. It's more than a little better to get it in one day. This is the real high-end food. To make cucumbers grow realistically. The quality will be higher. Later. Just pick it up at the normal time. In this case, produced in space, take the high-end route. For those outside, just take the cheap route. In this way, a two-pronged approach. Congratulations to the host. Let vegetables grow for 10 days for the first time. Reward 1 acre super farm. Total 2 acres. Yield per moo. It's much more than the 1 acre outside. There are 2 acres now. Then the output will be double. Good Grand Hyatt has so many chain wines. In this case, I can also try. Let's provide them with supplies. MIUM bananas. Banana. Bananas. Come. Yeah. This quality. It's really better than before. If it had been this quality before. It's the same dish as Jiang Yu's. This is too delicious, right? I thought it was the best before. The quality will be even better in the future. It's just time. It will take a little longer. There can't be so many every day. I understand, ha ha ha. Banana. Jew. I put most of my net worth, all invested. Why did you suddenly stop accepting my food? I am planning to switch to high-end food supply. Forget it about your food. My food is so delicious. Do you know how many people are after it? You idiot. I really thought it was Jiang Yu's food. It's the same one I bought from Happy. The road home is not the same at all. Your food is high-end. No one else tastes good. Low-end. You are not as cheap as others and have high output. You're the kind of person who's neither good nor bad. Still want to trick our Qingxian Pavilion? We won't let you compensate us for our losses. I've already given you a lot of face. Mr. Zhu, I found out. Vegetable supply at Grand Hyatt Hotel. That's it. The owner of Mom's noodle shop, Jiang Cheng. The high-end vegetables of Junyu. They were also given by him. Sure enough, it was him. I knew his surname was Zhong. There must be something wrong with protecting that kid. That's it. If it weren't for that Jiang Cheng, that Lin Shiyu, it's been yours for a long time. Sooner or later it will still be mine. Is anyone home? Who are you looking for? Are you Jiang Cheng's mother? What happened to me? Hello, Aunt. A car accident occurred in Jiang Cheng. He's in the city hospital now. His friend came here specially to pick you up. You should hurry up and take a look. Is it serious? You'll call Cheng now. He is undergoing surgery now. I called and no one answered. Let's leave quickly. Still need surgery. So serious, so heavy, so serious. You'll call him Daddy. Auntie, don't worry. No need to call Uncle. It's just going to do a minor operation. Need someone to take care of you now. I came here specially to pick you up. Go over and take care of it. Let's go quickly. Hey brother Biao, it's done. I made my mother drink spiked water, fucking already asleep. It's better to call Jiang Cheng, ask him to stop supplying Grand Hyatt. Understand brother Biao? Jiang Cheng. Call you from your mother's cell phone. Your mother is in my hands. I don't believe you won't give in. Hello? Hey Jiang Cheng, you guys are very busy. It took me so long to pick up the phone. I tell you. Your mother is in my hands now. You want her to have both arms and legs. Just do as I say. Don't touch my mother. I will do everything as you say. Hello? Don't hang up the phone. Who is it? Who kidnapped my mother? Hey Lin Hao, I'm in a hurry. My mother was kidnapped. I suspect it was King Xiange who did it. He has no other requirements. All you ask is that I stop supplying you with goods. His grandma's. It must be that beast Zhu Sen. I'm going to find that person named Zhu right now. Don't worry, I'm wrong. I know Zhu Sen's methods best. He'll help you find someone right now. But I also want to go. If you go, you will attract more attention. You wait for my news. Zhu Sen Qing Xian Ji. I won't provoke you. You came here to provoke me. Just wait for me. Wait until my mother comes back safely. Let you know what happened after provoking me. Congratulations to the host. First time at Super Farm. Work continuously for 1 hour. Award Super Farm 1 acre. Total 3 acres. Congratulations to the host. First time at Super Farm. Work continuously for 2 hours. Award Super Farm 1 acre. Total 4 acres. Congratulations to the host. First time at Super Farm. Work continuously for 8 hours. Award Super Farm 1 acre. Total 10 acres. Maximum area reached. Reward host hypnosis. I can't wait any longer. I'm going to find my mother now. His grandma's. That Zhu Sen dumped it very cleanly. We can only trace it to a Biao. A Biao's teeth are very hard. I've thought of all the ways. He refuses to admit the kidnapping. No evidence yet. It's useless even if you call the police. What can I do? You'll go there now. It was obviously you who did this. I thought we didn't know if you didn't admit it. How about you beat me to death? I don't know anything anyway. This a Biao. I have been following Zhu Sen for many years. He has become an old man a long time ago. Mu Hao called for a long time without asking. Don't waste your efforts. Don't worry, you'll ask him again. Leniency for confession. Resist strictness. Do you think what I said is right? You are right. Then you know where my mother is. Smart person will choose to be frank and be treated with less leniency. Do you think what I said is right? You are right. Then where is my mother? Your mother is in Linsua. This is what I said. Why does it feel like he was hypnotized? Brother, you have a chance. If you are late, you should follow whatever you say. I'm too impatient to wait now. Hey. You have such a weak body. Still farming during this time? A little firmer. It was like a wasted chicken before. I can help you even if I go there. Maybe it will drag others down. It would be great if I knew some martial arts. Please fly over the eaves like on TV. At least I have 2 brushes. This way we can protect you and my mother. OMG. What's wrong? Didn't I go to the hospital to see you? Why did I go around in a circle and come back? You weren't in a car accident, were you? Mom. I didn't get into a car accident. I only rubbed against the bicycle for a moment. Nothing happens. How could that person say that? You had a car accident and needed surgery. He misunderstood. Just be fine. Your friends are all here. You'll cook for you. Don't worry. I will keep an eye on Jiang Cheng's side. Won't give him another chance. The mastermind is Jiang Cheng. Who moved it? It's a guy named Shu Shou. He is Sister Shu's nephew. Opened one in Hotel Street. It's called a congenial bar. This won't end like this. I will definitely avenge my aunt. I will take care of my own revenge. You'll go to the fields and pick up some hot peppers. Mom, let me go. Hey, it's almost done. If you pick too much, you won't be able to eat it all. What is this? Congratulations to the host. Cultivate the super farm for 100 days. Reward a martial arts secret book. This super farm is a cow. My mind is full of tricks now. The whole body is filled with endless energy. Shu Shou, just wait for me. Brother, this is your first time at the bar. Yes, first time here. How did you tell? You can tell by the drink you ordered. People who come often. I wouldn't order such expensive wine. Bao most likes to make money from people like you. What about you? Do you also want to make money from me? Yes, I want to earn you some drink money. You are not afraid. I don't pay for drinking. Not afraid. This scene belongs to Brother Stinky. No one dares to fight with him on this street. Cut. Is it true that I don't pay for drinking? If Shu Shou comes later. I want this wine bottle. Hit him on the head. My God. What you said turned out to be true. Whoever hit me. Stop the music for me. Who is it? If you have the guts to smash it, but don't have the guts to do it, right, coward? Coward, coward. The wine in this shabby bar is not good. The quality of the wine bottle is pretty good. Who are you? How? Kidnapped my mother. But don't know me. You are Jiang Cheng. Say it. You surrendered yourself to the police station. Or should I throw you in? It's up to you. Brothers mess with him. The martial arts secrets all depend on you. Don't come here. Don't come here. He'll give you one last chance. You surrendered yourself to the police station. Or should I throw you in? Brother Cheng, my younger brother was not sensible last time. You said don't remember the faults of villains. Forgive me, little brother. Forgive me, little brother. It seems. I still have to do it myself. I was wrong. I was really wrong, Brother Cheng. I'm going to surrender now. I watched you turn yourself in. Go. Wow. This guy is so awesome, right? Jiang Cheng. I'm busy. No time for you. Last time I asked you to show off at Grand Hyatt. Why don't you pretend again today? I am also a person who has a Supreme card now. You get free bill at Grand Hyatt. I'm free of charge at Chinesedrama Pavilion. I said I was busy. Leave me alone. No time for you. What are you proud of? This is Chinesedrama Pavilion. My husband's territory. King Xian's high-end health dishes. But my husband's second uncle provided it. You guys, Zhan Yu, lost. Neurosis. You'll call Lin Shiyu now. She's right across from Zhan Yu. I want her to come over and take a look. How depressed is her boyfriend now? Hello Shiyu. Come and see your boyfriend. He lost miserably. He came to our Chinesedrama Pavilion to beg for mercy. Hey, rare guest, why did you remember to call me? Hey, where is Mr. Zhu? Brother Cheng is looking for you. Come to the office. Okay, let's go up now. Brother Cheng. What's wrong? What's wrong? It's okay. Watching the monkey show. Who are you scolding? Since you are here, come with me to find Jiang Cheng. Good. Haven't settled the bill yet, Mr. Feng. Please settle the account first. You don't even know me anymore. I still use checkout. Sorry, Mr. Phone. The total is 56,000 yuan. Could you please settle the bill? My husband is a Supreme member. Directly free of charge. It's really blinding your dog's eyes. Get your Supreme membership card now. Show her. Sorry, Mr. Phone. The Supreme membership card has been cancelled. Please settle the account. What, log out? How can I log out? We were able to get a free order yesterday. I don't know this either. You can ask Mr. Zhu. I'm going to find him now. Please check out. Is it cool? Look at how unlucky they are. Very cool, very cool. Follow you, Brother Cheng. Make you happy every day, Brother Cheng. What do you mean? Uh-oh. I mean, look at your Cheng brother killing everyone. I knew Brother Cheng was the best. Yo. ISNT this Xiao Lin? It's been a few days since I've looked more hydrated. You. This is my woman. Could you please keep your mouth clean? Why did you come to me? I want to bet with you Qingxian Pavilion. Loser. Just don't hang out in the catering industry in Shu City, dare you? Why should I bet with you? Just rely on your 3-year-old child's provocation method. These are all leftovers from my plate. If I add. What about the supply contract for high-end vegetables? Brother Cheng. Just ask if you want to gamble or not. Okay, he'll bet you. Jiang Cheng is betting so big this time. In case of losing, our Grand Hyatt is really doomed. I believe Brother Cheng. Brother Zhong, don't worry. Master of Emmanuel. But I came from Qingxian's head office, specially invited to take charge. Top chef. It's no exaggeration to say he is a chef. Do you think it depends on ingredients alone? You can beat the top chef Emmanuel. Dreaming. That's it. Any dish from Chef Ling Guan. Those are top delicacies. He is also a national food show's special chef. How to compare? How to compare? Today I'm here to challenge. Yours from Qingxian. Of course you are the one who came up with the topic. I heard about Mr. Jiang's delicious salmon soup. World famous. The skill of stewing soup must also be outstanding. I just want to see it. We are the simplest people. Let's start with seaweed and egg drop soup. This seaweed and egg soup. But Ling Guang's specialty. Looks ordinary. But it was featured on a national food program. Praise. Let's try this right from the start. So despicable. That's it. He still looked like he was giving in to Jiang Cheng. So shameless. Just like that old guy Ju Sen. Bah. Let's get started. If you compete with me in cooking, I really may not be able to win. Are you competing with me? Then you are really unlucky. Arrive at Grandma's house. Yeah, still the same taste. This tastes good. It has to be the soup made by Master Ling Guan. Jiang Cheng. Why doesn't he make soup yet? Jiang Cheng. Brother Cheng. Brother Cheng. Because. Has the time come? My alarm clock hasn't gone off yet. Seaweed and egg drop soup, but Ling Guang's specialty. It seems we can't win. Let's not compete anymore. Let's go. Waiting is so boring. Just fell asleep. This soup. Just 3 minutes left. Wait a minute. Have to wait some more. Master Ling Guang has already come out of the pot. Yours hasn't been cooked yet. How long do we have to wait? Okay. Excessive. Start the pot. This is the taste. Wow. It smells so good. Fresh. So fresh. It seems there is still hope. What's the use of smelling good? You have to taste it before you know it. Stewed for so long, and so much soup. This is a really good way to control the heat. What's the use of a good fire? It has to taste good. Is it better than Master Ling Guang's is delicious? This soup is amazing. Better than Master Ling Guang's. I don't know how many times. You see. This plumeria. Everyone has a soft heart. This egg drop soup. I'm most afraid of stewing for a long time. I stewed it into a solid egg by accident. And it stewed for such a long time. And soft-boiled eggs. Side is soft-boiled egg. The edge is a hard egg. The sides are still solid eggs. This is simply a miracle. I choose Jiang Cheng. Master Jiang did a great job. Oops. Ha ha ha. Really better than me. Resigned to defeat. Boss Jew. You should still remember. Let's make a bet. I am willing to admit defeat. What? Why did you agree to him? Do you think I am willing? Our ingredients are not as good as his. My cooking skills are not as good as others. Even the aura was lost to him. Let's continue to carry on here. There are also. Do we have a place? Go. Yo. Let's go. If you walk slowly, I won't send you off. Hey hey hey. Yeah. Win. They are giving in now. Are you happy now? Not very happy. I haven't started my revenge yet. They gave up. Not interesting. Come, let us congratulate Jiang Cheng. Ha 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 ha. What's the general situation? That's it. Current supply exceeds demand. As long as it is planted. Just wait and sit and collect the money. Then let's grow this food. At what price? Hey, like me. Happy Buy takes away 20% of the profit. The rest of the words, it's all yours. Then you. It's not that you don't make any money at all. I make some seed money. You guys, gotta buy my seeds. What's the price of seeds? Just follow the lowest price in the market. Everyone is from the same village. I can charge you more. Everyone heard it. This kid Acheng has a lot of potential. He's a good boy. I'm still thinking about you guys now. This cooperative planting. I'm the first to sign up. This is our home. Plant all the seeds of Acheng. I sign up. But I'll say something ugly first. If you want to plant, you must plant well. Other seeds. You can't grow my quality. And what's more, you will hand it over when the time comes. Must be my seed. Grown out. No cheating allowed. Once discovered. Do it at your own risk. That is necessary. Ours. Sign the contract in black and white. Solid in heart. Okay, then do this. I'm going to prepare the contract right away. Good. Dad. Hey. Jiang Cheng is back. Acheng, you're done. Yes. The seeds are all divided, except for a few homes. The land in our village. All we plant are our own seeds. Okay. Oh? Right. This is the money I made recently. You help me save it. If necessary. You can take it out and use it at any time. How many zeros is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 zeros. 10 million. Oops. Am I dazzled? I'm thinking. At most, I can only earn a few 100,000. How can you earn so much? Where is this? Waiting for our nationwide chain to roll out. Plus Grand Hyatt's high-end food chain. This is a way to make money. There may be more. Don't say 10 million then. 1 billion. Maybe even more. It's all possible. Ha ha ha. Oops, son. You have a big future now. Ha ha ha. Son. Mom is thinking. While there aren't too many people now. No, you have money. Find someone who is sincere. Everyone knows you are rich. The little girl is no longer pure-minded. Acheng is sincere. We are afraid of being cheated. Mom. I have found, sincerely. Who is it? I'm going to see Wang Shui to buy a car. Hey brat. You boy. When it comes to serious matters, he runs away. Brother Cheng, why are you here? Where did you get your new car? Bought new? Yes, just bought, specially used to pick up girlfriends. Girlfriend? Who is it? Of course it's you. Don't you want to? I do. Good. Then my girlfriend. Please get in the car. Then where are we going? Ugly wife, I always have to meet my parents-in-law. Do you want to meet? I see. Be careful. Parents. I brought my girlfriend back. You stinky boy. Since the last time I said I had a girlfriend. It's been a month now. You just brought me back. Hello uncle and auntie. My name is Lin Shu. Hey. Okay, okay, good girl. Come and sit. Sit down, sit down. Jiang is such a good girl. You have to treat people well. Mom. Don't worry. Cheng Ma. You have to help us. What's wrong? We are no longer planting. What's in Shitter's house? A new variety from the agricultural university, finally grown up. But no one came to collect it. Stone contacted that agricultural university. People say it's just an experimental field. Didn't say guaranteed delivery. The family is now out of control. What can I do? I said it before. Collaborative planting only happened once. If you add more later, you won't be able to get in. Jiang. You open such a big company. Hire so many people. Not inferior to ours. Just help me. They are all from the countryside. It's because I opened a company. It is even more important to adhere to the rules and regulations. If I say no, I just can't. Cheng Ma. Can you help me? We are all from the same village. It's been a relationship for so many years. Jiang. You see. Or just be accommodating. Never happen next time. Yeah. Okay. For my mother's sake. Plus. Today is my girlfriend. First time visiting. I want to celebrate. Give you a chance. Thank you, Jiang. His grandma's. Jiang Cheng tricked us all. He said that his new variety. It's him, given by a classmate from agricultural university. There is only one classmate of his. You tricked us into buying seeds first. They lied to us again and opened an experimental field. All the property has been used. Both renting land and buying seeds. As a result, they stopped accepting it. Oops. ISNT. Our land is also an experimental field. They were all tricked by Jiang Cheng. Brother Tiger. You also read the news. Jiang Cheng is the best. Mr. Zhu has already driven out of Shu City. And now not only Zhong Yudao, stand by him. Even that dragon has its head. The happy shopping boss with no end in sight. Also on Jiang Cheng's side. We can't afford to offend. Yes, Brother Tiger. Otherwise, let's find a way. Sold all the vegetables. At least I can get some money back. That's all my belongings. I can't swallow this breath. Brother Tiger. Want me to say, we shouldn't have. Experimental field. No money per se. This? Still owe a lot of debt. Let me tell you. We have a hard time. We can't let him have an easy time in Jiang Cheng either. What do you mean? I burned this place with fire. I let him try it too. What it's like to be broke. Yes, fuck him. Jiang Cheng. Since you cheated me. Then don't blame me for being rude to you. That Tiger brother. I won't be involved in this matter. I have an old man above me and a young man below me. Sorry. I'm leaving first, you, Brother Tiger. I'm leaving too. Coward. They won't do it. Let's do it. Stone. Old rogue. Go. How do you like it? This will be our home from now on. Like. Such a big villa. By then. Bring our parents over here. Let them enjoy themselves in the city. My parents are used to living in the village. You may not like it here. Later. I took the house in my hometown. They were also converted into large villas. Where do they want to live? Good. Jiang Cheng. If you hadn't made something up. Agricultural university classmates, new varieties given. I won't be reduced to this situation. It's all because of you. Squat down for me. Police comrade. I was wrong. I don't dare anymore. Just let me go. Be honest. It was all the old ruffians who instigated us. I was so angry that I got dizzy for a moment. Get up, go. Oops. It's okay. It's okay, Mom. Here and here. Yeah. Must be completed on time. Good. You'll go right away. Hey. Wait a moment. No rush. You'll have lunch later. Do it after eating. Good. You. Say goodbye to Grand Hyatt. Jobs with annual salary. Be my assistant. Don't you regret it? I don't regret it. You are my husband. What do I have to regret? Around men. Everyone has a good wife. Okay, busy man. Answer the phone quickly. I'm leaving first. Hello, Mr. Jiang. Several five-star hotels abroad. Hotel seeks cooperation with Grand Hyatt. Specify to use your high-end dishes. Mr. Jiang. My output. At most, it's for Jiang national chain store. Can't squeeze out any more. If only it could be doubled. I'd definitely rather. Our food can go abroad. Oops. I can't think of a way. Hey. You'll give it a try. Can you double the output? I'm not doing this to make money for myself. I'm here to make our food go abroad. Win glory for the country. Hey. It seems like it won't work anymore. This super farm. Since last time, after giving the martial arts secrets, there was no response anymore. It seems. I've given all I can give. Congratulations to the host. Didn't do anything for the first time. About to leave the space. Rewards land property increased by 10 times. Ha. This super farm is awesome. Whatever comes to mind can come. However. Didn't do anything for the first time. What does it mean? It means that every time I come. Do whatever you want. Or just pick a vegetable. Or turn it over. No matter what. Also get some spiritual spring water. Didn't do anything this time. Super farm. You are so interesting. We'll definitely succeed. There is nothing to worry about this time. Necessary. Brother Cheng. Make an appointment with us today. Which manufacturers? Already waiting in the conference room. They all want to cooperate with us. Want our agricultural products to produce non-staple food. Yeah. Oops. Since you still have things to be busy with, then I won't bother you. Let's talk another day. Then I won't give it away. Yeah. Hey. Right. There are several manufacturers today. It's foreign. They brought their own translator. But I still brought our translator here. Hey. If I were proficient just the languages of each country, there is no need for a translator to translate. 500 days or more. Reward foreign language proficiency skills. Brother Cheng. What are you laughing at? Ha. Nothing. I just think. Life is full of surprises. Maybe it will come one time. Let's go. Mr. Jiang, a few more people came outside. Said he was your old classmate. Want to see you. If you have something to say in the group, not even a group. What kind of old classmate? Missing. There is another self-proclaimed. It's your ex-girlfriend. What? Missing. There are also a few from TV stations. Want to interview you. This super farmer. National outstanding young entrepreneur.